Class is in session, hitting the books. College basketball show Wednesday, January 15th. Ian Cameron, we got Connor Mack, got some technical difficulties, but he's working through them, and he'll try to join us in a few moments here on the show. Ready to break down the Wednesday college basketball card. Another nice slate coming up tonight in college hoops action. C-Mac and I couldn't do much better with best bets last night, that is for sure. How about two underdogs that win outright? CMAC had San Jose State plus the points against New Mexico. They get a big win outright as a home underdog. And I went with Ole Miss plus the points against Alabama. Didn't even need the damn points. What a win for Chris Beard and the Ole Miss Rebels last night against Alabama. What defense they played, shutting down that high-octane, potent Alabama team. So great results. 2-0 sweep with the best bets yesterday. See if we can find some more winners for you here on this Wednesday card. Let's get into it. We will begin with an SEC matchup, South Carolina and Vanderbilt. We got Vanderbilt here, 9-point home favorites in this game. The total sitting around the 140 range here in this game, pretty much across the board, 142.5. I lean to Vandy here, laying the points. I know South Carolina hung tough at home against a very good Auburn team, an excellent Auburn team. And we saw that same Auburn team blow out Mississippi State last night. But going on the road, bit of a different animal. I really love what I'm seeing, too, from Vanderbilt. It's a team that's obviously, I think, made a great hire as far as coach is concerned. Mark Byington, who did a great job with James Madison with that program. And I think he's got Vanderbilt playing at a really solid level. I've seen enough from South Carolina, especially on the road, where I'm not always ready to trust them, away from South Kakalaki. Vanderbilt, like I said, I think the importance for them is they've got multiple players that can fill it up. They're a defensive team. They're a team that's transformed and gotten better at the defensive end as well. So I would lean Vandy here, laying the 9. Maybe I don't know if I'll bet it. If I do, it'll just be a small bet. Would probably lean a little bit under the total here, and it's already been bet down just a little bit from 144 to 142.5. I could see this being just a little bit of a higher total than I thought it would be. I thought it'd be closer to 140. I think it might go under the total. Like I said, I like this Vanderbilt team. Not really willing to step in front of them here tonight as they host South Carolina. Next up, we've got Kansas and Iowa State. Big 12 matchup here. This should be a fun one. Here at Hilton Coliseum, two of the best teams in not only the Big 12, but the country. I think you could say you've got Iowa State 5-point home favorites. The total here in this game sitting at 143.5 across the board in this one. This is another one where I think we sleep on the Iowa State defense. They're a pretty good defensive team, and maybe we're going to see that again here tonight versus Kansas. I ain't stepping in front of, and I ain't betting against Iowa State when it's Hilton Magic at their Hilton Coliseum. It's a basketball team that has always had a very strong home court here. We saw them take care of business just recently at home against Baylor. See if they can continue that. Obviously, they've got a team that plays really at both ends of the floor. They've got guys that can score, guys that can shoot from the perimeter. They play great team defense. They can rebound the basketball. I think it's an Iowa State bet for me. It's actually probably one of my favorite looks on the board, only laying 5 with Iowa State at home. It's been always a tough place for Kansas in the past. Kansas has had some tough nights here in the past playing at Hilton Coliseum, and I really like this Iowa State team. You're talking about teams that can not only win the Big 12, maybe make a deep run in March. I think Ole Miss put themselves out there last night as a team that put the college basketball world on notice that, hey, we can make a run in the NCAA tournament. I think Iowa State's that kind of team as well. I know they won't obviously be able to play in this great home venue when the tournament arrives, but definitely still think you're going to see Iowa State they've got all the intangibles to be a team that can make noise in March because, free throws are good, offense, defense, they got both ends of the floor covered. And I think Iowa State here laying 5 at home is the way I would go here as they take on Kansas here in this matchup. All right, California and North Carolina. We've got North Carolina laying a huge number here at home in the looks like 15.5 range. The total sitting at 159 pretty much across the board in this game. Last time Cal took to the road in ACC play, They got crushed in both games. Now, you could say that's just going to continue here, or you could look at this and say that maybe Cal's learned a few things from how bad things went for them the last time they went on the road in ACC play. That's really what you got to ask yourself. But I think when you look at this game here for Cal, I think they can hang in this number. I'm interested to take the 15.5 with them. It's a high number. I know North Carolina has been, very capable, and when they've got all things going on all cylinders, we've seen how good that team can be. I just know North Carolina in the past. They've put together this good run, and this just feels like the ultimate time where not everyone is immune to playing their having a flat spot or having a game where they're playing at less than 100%. I kind of feel like for North Carolina, this could be that night where you maybe don't get their best game here taking on this Cal Golden Bears team. And I like that Cal takes the road coming off that disappointing setback they had against Virginia Tech. Probably has them kind of feeling good or feeling, focused, locked in here. Like I said, I'm going to give them a shot here. Now, if you want to lay the points with North Carolina, I get it. How well they're playing. Cal was crushed in their last 2 ACC road games when they made the trip to the East Coast. I get it, but I just think Cal coming off the loss, and this could be a spot for North Carolina to kind of go through the motions a little bit. So Cal plus 15.5. You're going to get a lot of pace because Cal plays fast now. Obviously, North Carolina does. So I think this game could go over the total. It's a high total, no bargain at 159, but it's over or pass for me when it comes to the total here in this game. All right, NC State, Virginia Tech. As we stay in the ACC here, we've got NC State 2-point road favorites. The total sitting at looks like around the 134.5 range in this game. I like Va Tech as a home dog. I agree with the move down. I think Virginia Tech is starting to get things going a little bit. This is a team that obviously had a really bad start to the year. Still, I think a coach in Mike Young that's pretty solid. I remember the job he did at Wofford, which was impeccable. It's what got him this opportunity at Virginia Tech. I think, when you see a coach like him, you expect, the team to get a little bit better as the season goes on, and we're starting to see that a little bit from the Virginia Tech Hokies. I'm not a big fan still of NC State. I know Kevin Keatts' team is not even close to the squad he had last year, obviously, and they've definitely had their ups and downs throughout the course of the season, but asking them to be road favorites is not a role that I trust them in. So, and I like the little bit of an uptick in recent current form that we've seen out of Virginia Tech. So at 1.5, 2 is where this number is. Virginia Tech slight home underdogs. I do like Virginia Tech here, getting the 1.5, 2. It's down to 1 in some spots, so there's definitely been some love here in the markets for Virginia Tech, and I understand why that is. All right, Penn State and Michigan State as we move along to the Big Ten. Next up, we've got Michigan State, double-digit home favorites. They are playing just amazing basketball right now for Tom Izzo. 12-point favorites in this, actually 11.5 in most spots. The total at 154 across the board here in this one. I remember I took Penn State in a very similar spot to this one. They went to Illinois. I thought it was, a spot maybe for Illinois to have a bit of a letdown, bit of a, flat spot maybe potentially. And Penn State, certainly offensively, we like them. Defensively, not so much, but figured they could score enough to stay inside a big bloated double-digit point spread, catching points as an underdog, but it wasn't the case. They got absolutely lit up by Illinois, and that's the fear I have here in this game, that with just how well Michigan State is playing at both ends of the floor, what they did against Northwestern over the weekend on the road, like they fucking just choked that team off at the pass. They just couldn't get anything easy as far as easy baskets. Everything was contested. They guarded with, incredible intensity throughout that game. That's the way Michigan State's playing right now. They have obviously ascended up the top 25 poll, no doubt. And they're just such a much better defensive team than Penn State. And you just worry that if Penn State has one of those scoring droughts that Northwestern did at home over the weekend against Michigan State, then maybe there's a good chance that, Penn State's going to lose contact here, even though they're getting a lot of points. So the spot kind of says maybe this is one where Michigan State's kind of not at their best, but if you've been betting on we're going to fade Michigan State because this could be the game they're not at their best, well, you've been paying the price if you've been doing that. So I'm not in a overly big rush at the moment to say let's take Penn State here, but I will admit that it's kind of difficult at the moment to step in front of Michigan State with the way they're playing at this point in time. That being said, I'd just be a little bit cautious with laying 11.5, 12 with the Spartans here. I think the Spartans play Illinois as well, if I'm not mistaken, on deck. And if that's the case, you do worry that maybe that's the bigger game on deck for Izzo's crew, and maybe they won't give you their best here tonight. All right, West Virginia taking on Houston in the Big 12. We've got the Houston Cougars here. Pretty sizable 16 and a half point home favorite in this game. The total sitting at 124. How about the total being bet up? And people just assume that, I guess, the total where it was in the 121 range, just too low. I'm never in a rush to bet Houston overs. I'll tell you that, with methodical pace, how an elite defensive team they always are, especially at home. We see how difficult it is for teams to score. West Virginia is a team that's definitely played better than I thought. They are still very much a banged up group, though. Remember, Tucker DeVries, son of head coach Darian DeVries, is still, I believe, the last I checked, he's not playing and he's not back. And they do not have a very deep bench, West Virginia. In certain instances, that is going to catch up to them. Will it hurt them here against Houston? That remains to be seen. But it's definitely a team that has just been able to gut it out with, like I said, some injuries, the short bench that they use. But like I said, it's a situation where they don't play a very deep rotation. So keep an eye on that. But it looks like, DeVries may be out again here tonight for them. If that's the case, could be tough to score. It's going to be tough to score as it is on Houston. But, when you miss a player of that caliber, going to be even tougher. So, it's probably one of these deals where Houston's a very difficult team for me to bet against at home, even though they're always laying a bigger amount of points. I didn't bet this game, but again, West Virginia without DeVries probably would be a no-go for me. I would probably lean under, quite honestly. I'm a little surprised they're betting the over in this game. That's just the way I see it. Georgia and Tennessee in the SEC. We've got Tennessee 12-point home favorites, 134.5 your total here in this game. Tennessee bounced back from the debacle of a performance that they had against Florida with a solid road win. It was not easy against Texas, but they did get the job done against the Texas Longhorns over the weekend, responding from just that ugly blowout loss that they suffered at the hands of the Florida Gators before that. Now they're back home taking on a Georgia team that's feeling good right now with what they've been able to do here these last couple of games. We'll see if they can maintain that momentum here against Tennessee in this one. So Tennessee got blown out by Florida, and obviously against Texas, depending on, I'm thankful to get -4 with Tennessee, but a lot of people didn't get -4. A lot of people got 4.5, 5. With Tennessee, and if you got that number, you didn't cover. So you're suddenly looking at a Tennessee team, and C-Mac and I talked about this. Some of these top-tier, upper echelon teams in the SEC that just had absolute roll through the non-conference, like Auburn, like Tennessee, it's not going to be easy for them to cover point spreads in conference play because the power rating is through the roof. The conference games aren't easy. It's not easy every other day to play a team and a coach that is going to know you pretty well because they play you each season. And as a result, you're a little overvalued. I know Auburn covered last night, but prior to that, Auburn had dropped 4 straight games against the point spread. So that's going to be the concern here with Tennessee is they already look like they're maybe just a tad bit overvalued. The question I ask myself, though, is do I want to back Georgia here at +12 on the road? I'm not so sure. Mike White's team has had some couple of ugly games on the road already this season. So I think there's going to be spots to fade Tennessee. I don't know about tonight. I lean Georgia, but I haven't bet the game. I would look more toward the under here in this game, 134, 133.5. Georgia will play with some pace, but I've seen them go into wretched shooting slumps on the road this year. Tennessee, getting back to that defensive prowess that we know they're capable of in the win against Texas when they're on their game. So I would probably lean toward this game, maybe staying under the total here a little bit when it comes to Georgia and Tennessee. Again, we're waiting on CMAC. Again, he's trying to get his camera and computer going. He's having some issues today. We'll see if he can get on the show in the next 15 minutes or so. If not, that's okay. We'll continue to move along here, solo mission with yours truly, Ian Cameron. Shout out to everyone in the chat as well. We appreciate all of you guys tuning in here to the Hitting the Books show. 3 days a week for the college basketball show that will be here for you Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for the rest of the college basketball regular season. And then we'll probably vary up the schedule. I mean, the schedule is probably going to change once we get to the conference tournaments in March. And then, of course, the NCAA tournament. You know, by the time we get to that point, we might just do a show every game day during the tournament. So stay tuned for that. But we will definitely make some changes with the schedule, you know, once we get closer to the tournament. But Kelly, Don, Justin, G. Martinez, we appreciate you in the chat. Cincinnati, Colorado, here in the Big 12. We've got Cincinnati, 3.5-point road favorites, 135.5 the total here in this game. These are two teams that are very, you know, here we go with the ranked road favorite, which is Cincinnati, against the unranked home underdog. And that angle long-term says bet the unranked home underdog, which says bet Colorado here. That angle's not been as good this year. I know for a fact that it's not been nearly as profitable, just blindly fading the ranked road favorite. But I think in this spot, I would still lean to Colorado, even though that angle hasn't been as strong this year, because I'm still not totally there that in a place like Boulder, I'm ready to lay 3.5 with Cincinnati. Personally, I ain't there with that yet. You know, the Bearcats have been definitely a surprise, definitely a team that's played better than I thought, but they're still a team that I think when you look at this situation, not a team I'm fully trustworthy of. You know, we've seen them struggle with some of the better teams here in Big 12 play. Meanwhile, I know Colorado has had all kinds of scattershot results, some decent wins, some bad looks, and some bad losses. But I think the value in this number is there with Colorado getting, you know, not just as a home dog, but they're getting 3.5. You know, this could come down to the wire. They lose by a bucket, by 2, or by 3, and they still cash your ticket for you. So, I think Colorado would be the way I would go here. I probably will sprinkle on it small. I thought this total was a bit light. I know it was a rough shooting day for Cincinnati last time, but thought 133 was just a little bit low given the way Colorado's going to want to play here in this game. And so I agree with the total going up here as well in this game with the Bearcats and the Buffaloes. Pittsburgh, Florida State. Pitt, we've got 2.5-point road favorites here in this game. The total sitting at 148 pretty much across the board. And there he is, my friend. CMAC is ready to rock here. How are you, my friend?
Well, we're good here, but I don't have anything. Stuff's still not working. I don't know what camera's on.
Oh, you mean the...
But anyways, we're good.
One of those days. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just nothing's working. Something's, for my computer. But let's just roll it.
Okay, well, what I'll do is the games we've gone through, just quickly, rapid fire. Anything for you on Vanderbilt, South Kakalaki?
We'll just kind of, I'll just give you what I bet here. Nothing on any of these games at all. I have the under in Kansas, Iowa State at 144. I just, I think the only way that gets there is an OT or just really hot shooting. For a game like that, the way both teams just play there. Cal, they've just been so bad on the road. That's a huge – when a team lays points like that in North Carolina.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get there. It was just a lean. And that was it. I think it's a good spot for Tennessee. Books are putting out these numbers. They kind of know it. You know what I mean? From earlier today, I think this game's like a blowout. Or it could be, a 5-point game. That's what it seems like, especially with Tennessee at home. And lastly, the Cincinnati-Colorado game. I kind of like Colorado. I have 2 leans. I agree with you. Like now, if this hits maybe 137, I want to look the other way, but it's just still a lean. Cincy unders have been great for me, but I got to think they shoot a little bit better, and Colorado's been a little bit quicker pace. They just haven't played a ton of games in this number. When they've gone under a number like this, 138.5, they've had a horrible shooting night or played just a flat better team.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Now it's, there's some 136.5s. But I just don't know if I get here on the under with it.
All right,
it's
Pitt,
moved up too, 3 points, 3.5 points.
Yeah, it has. It definitely has. Like I got 134 on that total, and it's even gone up from what the number I bet with the Cincy Colorado game. So starting, I thought it was just a bit too low, and I think
I get it.
Positive regression shooting wise, especially for Cincinnati tonight here in this game. All right, next up we move along. There we go, just like that. CMAC all caught up. We got Pitt and Florida State. Pitt 2.5-point road favorites, 148. I have to take Pitt one more time here. I know on the road now instead of at home, but I just don't think very much of Florida State. I don't. I think there's a winnable game for Pitt. I still think they're the much more talented basketball team. And now when you see Louisville beat the shit out of Syracuse last night, you understand why Pitt lost to Louisville over the weekend. Not a bad loss at all. Louisville is on a roll right now, playing some excellent basketball. So you don't punish Pittsburgh for losing that game. This is their get-back spot. They're simply better than Florida State, and I think the price is cheap enough to take them here on the road. So I'll take Pitt money line here, minus 140. CMAC, what do you think?
I agree. I just don't think Florida State's very good either. Man, they're just not a team that I want to back. Their record's a little better than it is, but any game they stepped up, they haven't beat really anybody. Now they are at home. But still, it's kind of the same old things. They're sloppy. Turnovers are a problem. They're just not the best jump shooting team. And Pitt off their kind of the loss. It looks a little better. Louisville's just rolling red hot right now. But it's a gettable one on the road. So I kind of agree. I didn't bet it, but I get why you did.
Yeah, I'm not a big road favorite guy, and I don't like Cincinnati, but I do like Pitt, and I kind of like this road favorite. SMU against Virginia. SMU 6-point road favorites. 130. You got Virginia coming back off the West Coast. I think tricky spot back home after that trip. I think SMU's the better of these two teams. I think SMU has ratcheted up enough defensively to say, how's Virginia going to score consistently, which again continues to be their problem. I think SMU gets this done by 8 to 10 in that kind of a range. I think they can go on the road and win and cover. So I like SMU here, the Mustangs. CMAC, what do you think?
Yeah, Virginia just can't score. It's and a little bit they've hung their head on their defense, and that kind of hasn't been there. But this is one spot at home where I think they could be in this game, and that's crazy. I'm not betting, but I think they can hang around. I'm just not that big on SMU, not laying this number on the road at all. But I don't know if I have enough faith in this Virginia team to consistently at least make baskets. Now, some of their home games they've stayed in. I forget, they lost again, but it was tight. What was it? Was it because I don't have anything up? Was it Memphis, maybe?
Yeah,
Memphis though, the home game.
Oh yes, it was the home game. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to remember. They had a lot of neutrals, but a better a team on the they're laying points at their crib. So yeah, I think Virginia here a little bit. Not an easy dog, but an ugly one. I'd be on.
All right. Next up, we've got Purdue and Washington. Purdue Boilermakers, 7.5-point road favorites, 144 the total. This angle again, we talked about it with the game with the Cincinnati Colorado game. It's in effect here too. The unranked road favorite, or the ranked road favorite, I should say, the unranked home underdog. Purdue's rolling, man. Not easy to go against Purdue. They smacked Rutgers. They just absolutely obliterated Nebraska at Mackey Arena on Sunday. But still, it's their first big, long-ass trip out to the West Coast here in Big Ten play. It's not easy. And I know I've seen Purdue throw up some duds, throw up some clunkers on the road earlier in the season. Remember, Marquette beat their ass. And there was Penn State as well. And they went to Penn State, and they got drilled, Purdue, in that game. I just don't like this spot for Purdue. I know Purdue's rolling, but first long trip. Washington, are they good enough to compete is the question, because they've not looked great. And I like Danny Sprinkle. I think it was a nice hire. I think he's going to be good for them, but it's a work in progress. They rely so much on Great Osabor, and when he doesn't play well, the team just completely falls apart. But I think it's a Washington spot. The question is, do you trust them? CMAC, what do you think?
Osabor, he has to have 20 plus, like at least 20, probably more, 25 for him to be in it. But I think it's Washington or nothing. I know that's crazy. I mean, Purdue, They shot like 65%. They went 19 to 33 from 3, 2, and they were a pretty good team from 3 consistently. I think it's a little dangerous. I think they do go in there and win, but this one for me, I want to move on Washington. Just produce so red hot. I think I might have a smaller type bet on a game like this with Washington, but still, I haven't got there. I mean, they've had a couple. This was over a month ago, but they lost to like Seattle at home. Washington did, right, by 9. There's a couple of bad losses now. That stretch, what was it? Maryland, Oregon, Maryland, Illinois. They won, and then Illinois beat them by 4. That could just be similar. Purdue could just get out of here with a win, but maybe not a cover.
That's very possible, and that's one thing you can hang your hat on if you trust Washington. Is they did give Oregon was a tough game. Washington was a tough game for Oregon.
If they shoot it well, they'll be in it because defensively they're still pretty bad, and even in those games they gave up some easy buckets. But I think if they're shooting it at least decent, they could be in it. Yeah.
People are pounding the under in this game, and I know why that is, because people say Purdue just shot the game of their lives against Nebraska, and a lot of people like betting unders coming off a shooting outlier like that for a team.
Yeah, they scored 100 points, right?
Yeah.
102 or something like that.
Now you're on the road. Yeah, they say you're not doing that tonight. All right, Big 12. Sorry, not Big 12. Got to get that out of my head. SEC, Texas and Oklahoma. It's an SEC matchup now. Oklahoma 2.5-point home favorites, 148.5 the total. These are two middling teams in the SEC. These are two teams that are nowhere close to the top of the food chain, like an Auburn, like a Tennessee, like a Kentucky, like an Ole Miss. So it's an important game because both teams kind of need something good to happen. I thought Texas poured their guts out against Tennessee. Very good Tennessee team, a Tennessee team coming off that blowout loss to Florida. And Texas battled them. I give Texas credit. But still, they expended all that energy and fall just short. They lose by 4. Now you're going on the road after fighting the good fight against Tennessee. I think a tough spot for Texas. And let's be honest, in a matchup of Porter Moser versus Rodney Terry, I'm going to side with Porter Moser 99% of the time from a coaching standpoint. So I think at this number, I like Oklahoma. Boomer Sooner, money line for me. C-Mac, what do you think?
Yeah, they need a win, big time. These 3 straight losses after starting the year so good. More guys need to chip in, and as good as Fears and Moore have been, they haven't been great these last couple games. And so is the defense. That's why a lot of the games have gone over. That's why we see a total like this. But man, when they were playing better, the defense was a little bit better and going under. And it's just lately, all these games, the defense hasn't been there. One thing I think it is Oklahoma, even though they lost last week. What was that? Was that to A&M? Because I don't have anything.
Yes.
By 2. They came out in the first half good. I kind of like that here. Texas has owned their ass. Just going through that earlier today. I think they won like 7 in a row, which is a little weird in this series. So, but I kind of like Oklahoma too. I look at them early in this game, first half.
All right. So I like Oklahoma and C-Mac liking them specifically first half here tonight.
Yeah,
right.
I don't mind full game. I think they come out well here. It's just they've been folding lately. These, the last 3 or 4 games have not been good late.
No, I get it. You're right. Hasn't been the best from them, no doubt. All right, last game, Mountain West action here. Utah State, UNLV, right in C-Mac's backyard at the Thomas and Mack Center. Utah State, 5.5-point road favorites, 148.5 the total in this game. Utah State, another ranked road favorite, unranked home dog situation here in this game. Utah State's played very well. I give them credit. They're certainly a team that can win the Mountain West. Been a little bit disappointed with UNLV in some of their recent games. We'll see how they fare here. They are catching points at home against Utah State. It feels like maybe a decent spot here for the Rebels. Can they get the job done, though, against one of the Mountain West heavyweights? That is the question you have to ask yourself. Kind of lean to the home underdog, but just something maybe if I get involved, it'll be small. There's still some concerns I have for UNLV. Some games the scoring's not there. Some games there's defensive lapses and they just give up easy baskets in transition. That's been a big problem at times for UNLV, and that's where Utah State can really, really burn you because they're going to look to speed things up and really burn you down the court before your half-court D sets up, and it's been an issue at times for UNLV. So Matchup is not the greatest. I don't know. Is it the spot? Do I want to lay 5.5? It isn't. It's actually, I think, a good UNLV spot. Can they get it done? CMAC, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, traditionally there's a couple times a year UNLV, especially at home like this in conference. You want to look at them. Is it here? They've really played nobody at home. Like they lost to Memphis and kind of blew that game. That was early to start the year, and they played just fucking nobody really. And they got drilled those last two games on the road. I think they shoot it better. When I first look at this, I want the under. But UNLV all of a sudden gone 6 straight overs, and I got to think they shoot it better here in this game to win. Now, is their defense going to be there? Utah State's gone over as well on the road, and Utah State's been money on the road, 4-0.
Yeah.
So it's tough, and they're just the better team. But I like to take UNLV, and a little bit. This is kind of the situation. Like they think UNLV maybe is still pretty good because I was thinking this maybe should have been 7.5. A little bit, like in my mind, like maybe like the Purdue, but so the line's a little bit fishy to me. I have this too. UNLV could definitely do it. They definitely step up year after year in a game like this in conference. So I know I've been looking at them all day, going through everything. It seems like in this fucking game. I don't know if I got to see more from the Rebels shooting it better. Passing the ball at times. Yeah, it's just nothing's really clicked.
Yeah.
From half to half, they're just been kind of a different team. Game in and game out.
And it can't be the same thing tonight, or else they're not going to win this game. It's that simple. So
no, they got to be better.
No, because
they shot the three pretty well. They've shot too many, and at times when they do go cold, it's been bad for them, and they don't have enough scores other than Thomas. There's the 2 and 3 just aren't really there for them. They're trying to find it.
Yeah, there's no doubt they're trying to find it. And like I said, tonight's not the night you want to be haphazard with the basketball, okay? Because Utah State will just crush you if you're going to be that way.
This is the only game late, though. I got to love you.
Standalone game. Yeah, it's the only
standalone, 8 p.m.
Yeah.
Don't have many of those anymore, except, So I'll be watching it. It's for damn sure.
I'll be
should go to the fucking game.
Especially because it's a light NBA and light NHL night. I'll definitely be tuning into the late night action there, Utah State, UNLV. All right, there you have it. That's our game previews. CMAC, any games we did not discuss that you're liking here on the board tonight?
We can go through a few. I haven't bet this. I still have to look at a couple things. IU Indianapolis. I thought maybe has some value here. Like Oakland's better. Was this fucking team be laying 10 points at home? I don't buy it.
Campy's got as good of a team, and I like the way IU, formerly IUPUI, they're IU.
Yes,
Indianapolis. Yeah. They're starting to cover numbers. They've been competitive. I agree. I think a few too many points there.
I think it's a little bit out there. Oakland, pretty, solid, all right at home, but I don't think they should be laying that. Our guy Spoon bets. I do like that as well. From earlier, Western Carolina. I just don't know if VMI should be laying anything to anybody. Usually I've been looking. I took them on Saturday against, what was it, Mercer. They were 5-point dogs, won outright. I took them a few times at home.
A crazy 0 for ATS run as a favorite. They haven't been.
Yeah, I mean that's like automatic.
It's Western Carolina or past. Take those catamounts. I agree. Yeah,
totally agree. That tips in 10 minutes. There's one or two more. Pass that we talked about Vandy. Oh yeah, I'm on South Florida here. I got 3.5. It's 3. This moved up a little bit, then it kind of bit back. I like how UAB's playing, but I don't buy him here laying points on the road. But, I might be on an island. I might be on an island. I have a feeling you might have been.
But I like them more. When I really like, I only like UAB a little bit tonight. I really liked them on Sunday when they played Florida Atlantic. I was on them pretty heavily.
That was Florida Atlantic. People playing them, you're getting some value, and people have not only done that but beat them. And not a ton of trust, but South Florida's played well at home. They're gritty. I don't know. I think there's too much love here for UAB. They're playing well, but South Florida's not playing bad either. This team's won at home. They just beat Wichita. They just lost to, what was it, Tulane? I don't have anything up, but I think that's who they just lost to, right by 3.
Yes.
So, I think it's a tight game. I wanted the 3 in the hook. I got it. There's some 2.5s out there now, too. I think they keep this game close. It should be high scoring as well. Might not get there though. It's total's high, but should be plenty of points.
All right, and for me, I'm on LaSalle in the over versus Davidson. I think there's points in that game. I think it goes over the total. I like LaSalle as a home dog there. Davidson's playing a lot better now, but putting them out there as a favorite on the road. The Explorers, at home have been capable. Fran Dunphy. I still think they have the better coach, actually, LaSalle, Fran Dunphy, than the son of McKillop for Davidson.
Real quick,
yeah,
you didn't touch on this game, did you? I took Seton Hall. I got 7.5. I took it.
Totally with you there.
I took it.
Lay that with Butler.
Okay.
Can't do it.
Yeah, I took it. I don't know if Butler wins this game by 10, hats off to them. But I think Seton Hall is pretty much in it from the full game, as long as they're just not horrible shooting it, because their defense can even just keep them in this game.
Yeah,
Savannah.
I'm on Tulane. I'm fading Florida Atlantic again. I'm on Tulane in the over against FAU. A lot of points should be paced. Should be a lot of points there. So I like Florida.
Tulane. I get it.
Tulane in the over there. We talked about IU, Indianapolis. We both kind of like that. Georgia State, Texas State is a very strong series history over. Both teams are trending over. So I took some over 148 with Georgia State, Texas State in Sunbelt action in that one. I took Illinois, Chicago as a small favorite against Murray State. UIC's playing pretty solid. I think it's a good spot for them. Pick off Murray State here on their home court tonight. So I took UIC money line against Murray State. Loyola Chicago, I think, is favored for Rhode Island. To me, has got regression waiting to happen. I know they've played very solid, Rhode Island, but I don't trust them to sustain this throughout a very good, Atlantic 10's a tough conference. You're going to take some lumps eventually. And I think when you look at Rhode Island, tough environment there going on the road against, like I said, Loyola Chicago. I think Loyola Chicago -4.5. I like them there in that spot. And what else here? That's really about it. Oh, on the added board, a couple games. Overs with South Carolina State, Asheville, and Charleston Southern Winthrop. I think you'll see points in those games. And I like Holy Cross a little bit, +6 against Bucknell. So
I like it a little. They played a horrible game on Saturday. I had them on Saturday.
Yeah.
Because I like to take them in spots where they're a dog. I looked at that a lot. They probably covered tonight. But yeah.
We didn't talk George Mason Dayton. Okay, here's how I feel. I feel it's a Dayton potentially a Dayton blowout spot. Like, they haven't been playing well. They got their teeth kicked in on the road. Now they're back home at UD Arena. They'll be focused, but they have struggled with George Mason. George Mason's been a problem for them. It's not been a great matchup for them over the last couple of years. That's the only thing that's making me hesitant to lay it with Dayton, because I think it's a lay it with Dayton spot off 2 straight road losses, but George Mason's been a thorn in their backside. Go look at the recent meetings. George Mason's been tough on them every time.
Yeah, right now, just the way Dayton's playing, there's no way I'd lay points with them. Yeah, I think George Mason could.
That's a high variance game. The start they had, they could win by 15 or 20. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. It could be just a really tight game or even lose, or if they're rolling like they were during the start of the year.
Yep.
They could win, by at least 12 plus.
Don't forget how good they were playing early in the year. How good they were.
I know, that's what I mean. They were playing
early in the year, so that's the thing. I'd be careful with taking George Mason. George Mason has played them good though. And maybe Dayton's not going to just turn it on here tonight. So that's an interesting one though. That is an interesting game. Yeah, I'm done with Chattanooga, man. That team's, just they've failed me too many times to trust them. I know someone said Wofford in the chat. Money line against Chattanooga. I can't blame you. Chattanooga has been kind of disappointing. Not kind of, they have been disappointing.
Yeah, on Wofford though, it's just been I think they played better. They were so bad to start the year. Usually they're at least somewhat better. They've been playing better, but still having the shitters, and then playing a little bit better. So I get it.
Yeah, Stanford, Wake Forest. The last one I'll mention is I like the way Wake's playing. I like their coach. But I'll tell you what.
Tough spot for Stanford. I don't know. That's tough.
But yet people like Stanford because they're taking money.
It's coming down
to 6. Yeah, it's coming down. I don't know if I agree with that, quite honestly.
Yeah, I think Stanford has. I don't know. They haven't tried it. to go all the way out there. But Wake's not really a team. Yeah, I could see it why people want to be laying it like a number like 7 with them lately. And they were usually pretty good at home the last few years, but just this team's not quite there this year.
No doubt. All right, great stuff. There you go. I think we gave you maybe there's a few games we didn't talk about. I think we talked somehow about most of the board right there with that rundown. But shout out to everyone in the chat. Appreciate you guys joining us. Hit the like button. Appreciate it very much. Like I said, and Samford. Yeah, I think I would not take Mercer. I'm with you. It's Samford or nothing there for me against them. And I wanted the over in that game, but holy shit, I think they put that total at 165. Holy mackerel.
Damn.
Should be a lot of points, though, with neither team great defensively there either. All right, there you have it. Let's wrap things up. Doesn't get much better than last night on this show. 2-0 best bets, and both of them were big dogs that won outright last night. CMAC and San Jose State, and I had Ole Miss. Can't do much better than that. Hopefully we got an encore up for tonight for best bet. So CMAC, we'll start with you. What do you like here for best bet?
Yeah, I was gonna give this, but we'll put it off. I mean, because I still think it's okay at this time that there's at least 7s out there, 6.5. I get 7. Seton Hall, I think they stay with them flat out. I'll take the points there. Seton Hall plus 7.5, 6.5 is fine too.
There you go. Seton Hall, the Pirates getting points against
baby.
Butler for CMAC with his best bet. I went with a dog last night. I'm going with a favorite though tonight. Hilton Magic, 2 words. Nothing more needs to be said. Iowa State -5 against Kansas. That team is just phenomenal at home. Kansas had a tough time there over the years. And I think it's a back down to earth time here for the Jayhawks here in a tough spot. Iowa State, I believe in this team, and Otzelberger, great job as a coach. Play both ends of the floor. Iowa State -5. To me, it's the clear best bet. To me, this stands above a lot of the other bets I've got on the card. Iowa State -5 against Kansas for my best bet here for this Wednesday college basketball slate.
Iowa State, I'm on the under in that game. Iowa State, better the last couple of years playing there. Because even how much they've dominated home the last 10 or 15 years, they still had trouble with Kansas at times, but they've been better the last few,
Yeah. No, they have. And I think that'll be a great game, but I think Iowa State wins by 8 to 10. I think it'll be competitive for a while. They'll pull away. I see them pulling away like the last 5-10 minutes of the second half. If you run Iowa State, it's going to be close most of the game, but I see them pulling away in the last 5-10 minutes, and they'll win by 8 to 10. That's how I see it with that game. Jayhawks and Cyclones. Good stuff. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button on the way out. We appreciate it very much. And again, we'll be back on Friday for our next show, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. We'll do a Friday/Saturday preview, what a few of the Friday games and a lot of the Saturday games, and we'll do that on the Friday edition of the College Basketball Hitting the Books show.
Yeah, shout out to everyone in here. Appreciate all you guys. We're started from scratch, Spoon Bets. We will get more views.
Yes,
especially as college basketball is going. The next year or two, we definitely will.
Word.
The
Share
channel
the channel
gets growing. Yes, yeah, it will. And we knew what we were going from. Starting it all on our own again. It's not going to be easy, but I know the work we do, Babano, and I think it'll get going and get rolling. You know what I mean?
It will, no doubt. Yeah, put in the work, and the people will follow. You build it, they will come, as they say.
Definitely.
That's what we plan on doing. But we appreciate you guys tuning in. We're building. We're going to get this to 1,000 subscribers by next college football season. That is our goal. We'll keep on building. Yeah, exactly. The chillest, brick by brick, indeed. Let's brick by brick cash some tickets tonight, and we'll be back with you on Friday. For CMAC, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Wednesday night. Enjoy the games and good luck, and we'll see you again Friday for another edition of the College Basketball Hitting the Books show. Until then, class dismissed.